Hello again, gamers. Welcome back to the Board Game Captain. I'm the Captain,
I'm Lynn.
and today we're going to be talking about and reviewing Exit the Game, The Sacred Temple. So I want to give a big thank you to Cosmos, or Thames and Cosmos, for sending us this copy of Exit the Game, The Sacred Temple to play and film a review of. Thank you, Thames and Cosmos. Before we get too into the review, I do want to say we've got a bunch of links in the description down below that you can check out at your leisure. There's a link to BoardGameCaptain.com, which is a great hub for all things Board Game Captain. And Lynn and I have started doing semi-regular blog posts over there, so you can head over and check those out. As well, there is a link to our Teespring store where you can get some cool gamer gear, some cool Board Game Captain merchandise, shirts, mugs, etc. And also there is a link to our Patreon. If you're in a position to and would like to support the channel, you can head over to my Patreon, link in the description below. All right, so let's start with who designed Exit the Game, The Sacred Temple.
According to the front of the box, it says Inca and Marcus Brand, as well as Julian Vorgame.
Yes, so now I believe Inca and Marcus Brand are the designers of the entire Exit the Game series, though sometimes they get some other co-designers in to help them get some newer, fresher ideas. And this particular episode, now what was the storyline in the Sacred Temple?
It was you were an archaeology student, and your professor left you a cryptic note, and then you had to go find your professor while also thwarting,
Tomb robbers.
tomb robbers.
Okay, so I want to start with that. I wanted Lynn to say it so I could respond to it, because I love this storyline.
Okay.
It feels very like Indiana Jones, like you are students of Indiana Jones and you're going to like rescue him because he got captured by the tomb robbers or something. I really dug that. I really like the theme. But also, this is one of the and this is an important thing we really need to talk about. This is one of the new line of Exit the Games where they include actual jigsaw puzzles as some of the puzzles in the game.
Yes, there are 4 puzzles.
Yes, indeed. So, all right. So the game is listed.
Jigsaw puzzles. There's more like
There's a ton of puzzles. Yeah, but there's four jigsaw puzzles.
Yeah.
Yes, that's gonna be tough to remember to differentiate when we're talking about puzzles, because usually when you're playing these games, you're talking about puzzles. You're talking about word puzzles and physical puzzles and puzzles where you have to cut stuff out. But there's actual jigsaw puzzles in here. It's gonna throw us off a little bit. Now, the game says it plays at 1 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, and playtime of 2 to 3 hours. So, for the 1 to 4 players, I mean, this is a thoroughly cooperative game. We played it at 4. We had a couple of our friends over, and we played 4 players, and I thought it played quite well. Now, we played a lot of the other Exit the Games at only 2 players, and I would say, yeah, these all play really well. I mean, because it's cooperative.
Yeah.
Regardless of player count. But specifically, I want to draw attention to this game in particular. I felt like everyone of the 4 people were always constantly engaged. Like, we all had stuff to do. And that was really great. The puzzles in particular, the jigsaw puzzles, that is. I knew that was going to mix me up. The jigsaw puzzles, every time we're doing the jigsaw puzzle, everybody's on the table. Everybody's looking for pieces. Everybody's working on getting the jigsaw puzzle together. And I thought that was great. Okay, what about the 10 and up? What do you think on that?
I think, that's accurate.
Pretty accurate?
Yeah.
And okay, so and as for the 2-3 hours, we did it in around 3 hours, I think was our final.
Yeah.
So we were a little on the high end, but that's because we mainly because of my influence, we're refusing to do much in the way of the hints. We only did 1 hint. So we managed to do the vast majority of puzzles 100% on our own. The 1 hint, really, I think it was like the third puzzle. It was pretty early. And then it helped us with the future puzzles, because it was a puzzle that was a new type of puzzle having to do with the jigsaw puzzles, that once we realized how to do it, a lot of the other ones, without ruining anything, because this will be spoiler free, but it made a lot of the stuff click into place. The hints why don't you talk about the hints were done a bit differently in this one?
Yeah, instead of having the stacks of cards that you need to put out on the table, the hints are in the backside of the rule book.
Yeah.
And there's like a little index that shows you, because it's locks, it's colored locks that you have to open. So if you're having trouble with the red lock, you just see what page the red lock hints are on. And I actually like that more than having them spread out on the table.
I thought it worked quite well. And we
Yeah.
only needed to use it once.
Yeah.
And again, I thought this was a fantastic example. I mean, spoiler alert, I'm going to be rating this very highly. I thought this was a fantastic example of the exit the game system. So much so that the puzzles were very logical. They really made sense. Once you figured them out, it like clicked, and it was so rewarding. We only needed to use one hint, but we only used the first hint. Was it 3? There are 3 hints for each puzzle, and we used the first one and got it.
We used the first 2 because the first hint was stuff we already knew.
Oh, it was it? Oh,
Yeah.
my bad. I forgot. Okay, so we used 2 of the 3, but we only used what we only needed hints for one of the puzzles.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the big differences here, because I mean a lot of the stuff in this are pretty similar to other exit the games. You've got the decoder wheel.
Yeah, there's a decoder wheel. There's like the mysterious objects. The main difference is that instead of having a big map or like the pages of a book and saying like now flip the next page and having to look for clues on that, it's the jigsaw puzzles.
Yes.
So you put together the puzzle, and then the hints will reference that puzzle until you figured out all the clues, and it'll tell you to put together the next jigsaw.
It usually seemed to be that each of the puzzles, like you do the jigsaw puzzle, and then there would be like 3 or 4 puzzles, not jigsaw puzzles, but other puzzles that had to do with that jigsaw puzzle.
Because it's just it's a big picture with multiple parts, and there's the colored locks are on it, so you knew like.
Which
locks,
you knew which ones it would have to do. I'm going to show up. I'm going to be showing pictures of a few of the components up on the screen. Don't worry though. I will show one of the completed puzzles, but just to show you what they look like completed. But that really won't ruin anything for you, because it won't ruin like doing the actual puzzles having to do with that jigsaw puzzle. But I thought the puzzles were great. I think they're a fantastic addition to the system. What were your thoughts?
I thought it was more interesting instead of just having a big old map, and also I like that I like that this one was linear. It says in the rule book like you cannot go on to the next puzzle until you finish the previous one. And some of I don't know if it's the exit ones or if
there's been some escape room games that aren't linear.
I don't know if it was the other kind of escape room one where it was like it gave you like 5 puzzles and it was like figure out which ones
I think there were some escape rooms that were like that. Yeah, where you weren't sure which one to do.
Where it was like you had clues to multiple different puzzles and you weren't sure like 100% what clues went with what puzzle. I don't like that. I like the linear.
No, I thought it worked out very well, and there was never any confusion about what went to what.
Yeah.
And like we said, we only needed hints for one of the puzzles in this entire game. The entire rest of the time, someone in the group got it. We were like, click, boom, oh, that makes sense. And the one we needed hints for, it was 100% because it was a type of puzzle that we had not seen in these before.
Yeah.
So we were like, we can't figure it out. What do we do? We really tried to brain burn it. And then when we got the hints, we're like, oh, okay, that makes total sense. Oh, that's awesome. That's a new type of puzzle. And then from then on, there were a bunch more of those. But every time it came up, we were like, oh, okay, that's like that other one. Mm-hmm. And then we didn't need any of the hints from then on. So that was really good. So yeah. There was one other. There was a difference for how the wheel worked in this one. It had the little window on the back. Instead of a deck of cards.
It was three numbers that you had to put in to unlock the lock. It was the code for like the padlock.
And that part was normal.
Yeah. And then but the thing was if you were trying to unlock the pink lock, you'd put in the three numbers and then you flip the wheel to the back and there's a window and it would either have an X or a lock on there. And if it was the right color, so if you were doing the pink lock, you flipped it over, you saw a pink lock, you knew you were correct. If you saw an X or like a blue lock, you knew that it was incorrect.
So I think this is a more streamlined way, because they used to use the deck.
Yeah,
and
you
get a number.
You had to find a card and flip it over, and
so the card would either tell you that you got the correct answer and here's what you do, or no, this was a wrong answer. I feel like this is a more streamlined way of doing it. They probably did it to cut down on production costs, since they had to put in those 4 big puzzles in here, which was going to up the production cost. This is a little more expensive than the normal Exit
It's
the Game modules.
$24.99, I believe. So it's $10 more than the regular one.
Which is still,
ones.
I mean, $25 is still really affordable.
And plus, I mean, like, you don't destroy the jigsaws at all. So you could keep those pieces. And while you don't have, like, a cover to see the finished picture like a normal jigsaw box would have, I mean, you could still, you could frame them. You could just keep them as, like, extra hard puzzles because you don't have a picture.
Well, and like a big shout out. So I want to give a big shout out to the people we played this game with. We played this game with our friends Sadi and John. And John specifically said, like, if he had bought this, he would have framed the puzzles. He loved the pictures. He was like, I'd buy little frames from him and put them on the wall. And people would be like, oh, what is that? And I'd be like, oh, that was this game I played. And I thought that was really cool. I was like, yeah, they are really nice.
And it actually, we were talking about it a few days ago that there was actually the least amount of destruction in this one. There was one piece that we had to cut, and that was it. Like, nothing else was destroyed at all.
Yeah, there's only it definitely had a below average number of puzzles that you could never do again, with destruction purposes. Yeah, with only having that one that I think was the one that you had to cut. And I was like, usually there's a lot more. But yeah, no. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this. I wanted to say. So I was talking about before we got sidetracked. I feel like the reduction of the decks of cards for both the way the wheel works, it doesn't reference a deck of cards, and also the hints, I feel like is to keep the production value down. But if you're going to pick things to remove to keep the production value down, these are wonderful things to remove. They're unnecessary. You don't need them. I really like them streamlining the wheel, so the wheel itself immediately tells you if you're right or wrong. I think that's great. Big thumbs up for me on that part. Also, now in a lot of the earlier Exit the Games, they've had prizes that they give you that you get to keep, even though because of how you cut up and destroy some components, the game is really not replayable with the Exit the Game games. But they always give you, they used to always give you prizes. They've kind of done away with that. However, I did want to draw attention to, as we were talking about with the puzzles, you can keep the puzzles, and you can just redo the jigsaw puzzles.
Well, there was that one card where it was like you could put in like paste pictures of the people who did it to make like a little like group photo. But like, I mean, just take a group photo. Everyone has phones now.
It's true, but I was just saying that I like that it did leave you with something that you could totally hold on to and still use, which are the little puzzles. Even though it didn't explicitly say, hey, here's your little reward, like a lot of the old ones used to be like, here's a little prize. There was one that gave a recipe out.
Yeah, for a pie, an apple pie or something like that.
I think it was cherry pie. But I remember it was one of the rewards. While it didn't explicitly say that, I did feel like the puzzles themselves were a reward you could hold on to. The jigsaw puzzles, specifically. All right, so... we've been talking a lot about the experience, and we've both been being very positive. Did you have any negatives you wanted to talk about with the Sacred Temple?
I couldn't really think of any.
Yeah, I think this is on par with some of the best modules for Exit the Game that I have played. And we've played a bunch of them. We've played a lot now. And of all the ones we've played, this is up there. This is definitely a possible contender for the very best of all the Exit the Games we've played. I really like this a lot. I didn't have any negatives I could think of. So yeah, I'm with you on that. Any other positive? I mean, we've been. This whole thing has been smattered with positives. We've been talking very positively
about it. I like the jigsaws. I like that they replaced having a big fold out. I liked how they redid the hints and redid the wheel and how you got the extra stuff. I don't know.
It was all very fluid, very good. The puzzles were, in my opinion, some of the best I've had in any of the modules. The puzzles were very logical. There were none where I was like, oh, that's a bit of a leap of logic. All of them made sense. Like when you're like, you had to read very carefully in the wording and be like, oh, there's the hint right there hidden in the second line of the wording of the puzzle. Here's what we gotta do. And I love the jigsaw puzzles. So yeah, I don't have anything I disliked with this one, and I really liked this one a lot. This was pretty top notch for me. In regard to the Exit the Game series, this might be my favorite. It's hard because you only play each one of them once, and it's been a while since my previous favorite. I think was the Theft on the Mississippi.
Yeah.
I liked that one a lot. That was my previous favorite. I think this may have surpassed it, but it's hard because I haven't played that one in quite a while. What do you think? Is this a possible contender for your favorite, or?
Yeah, possible.
Okay.
I mean, I don't remember what I've given the other one, so who knows? I don't.
All right. So, how many do you want? Do you want to go first or second?
I'll go first.
Okay. How many stars out of 10 are you going to give to Exit the Game: The Sacred Temple?
I'm gonna give it 9.
Wow, that is a very, very positive score. I'm not that surprised because I'm also going to give it a 9. We're totally in sync on this one. We're not always, but in this case, we are right 100% in agreement. I did not go back and check to see how many stars I had given the Theft on the Mississippi.
We can't replay it anyway, so what is?
Well, we could.
Matter?
I mean, at this point, we've probably forgotten what a lot of the
That's
puzzles
true.
were. But you know what the problem would be is you'd be playing it and you'd be like, oh, I remember how to do this. But yeah, this is definitely one of the best in the series that I have played. Absolutely adore Exit the Game: The Sacred Temple. If you're looking for an awesome game to buy for your family, if you have a family of, say,
1 to 4.
Yeah, 1 to 4 players, right? So if you got like 4 people and you're looking to have an evening of amazing fun that you are going to be remembering and literally talking about for weeks, because I just saw Saudi the other day and we had a whole conversation about playing this game. Literally just talking about the puzzles and how awesome it was. You will literally be talking about this one for weeks. We can highly recommend Exit the Game: The Sacred Temple to you. Definitely an awesome experience, and definitely for like a evening of fun, well worth the $25. I mean, it was a great activity for 4 people, definitely. Would you thoroughly agree with all that?
Yeah.
All right. So you have it. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns on the Exit the Game series, or specifically Exit the Game: The Sacred Temple, feel free to put them in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this review of an escape room game and you'd like to see us do more like it, be sure to give this video a like, share it on all forms of social media, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Captain. That's Captain spelled with a K on YouTube. And until next time, game on.